Yes, just wait for you guys to come live. Good morning. Good morning. We're just going to wait a few minutes for people to arrive. So much happening all at once on this planet. Good morning. Hi, Margaret. Yes. Don't be afraid is the message that I've got a Pleiadian collective coming in today, which is very different. They don't often come as a collective to me. And there's a level of deliberation, a level of presence to the Pleiadians that's different than other beings I connect to. Theirs is very grounded, but also very expansive. And they're really present in the moment, like really here in this moment. And the message they want to communicate is literally that statement. Don't be afraid. In other words, to not engage or indulge in vibrations of fear. To not engage in vibrations of fear. The primary reason they say this is important right now is that the organizing principle of the vibration of fear is very different than the organizing principle of the vibration of love. They create vastly different results, except at the point where they meet in the middle. And because fear and love, they have a place where they actually meet in the middle, where they don't cancel each other out, but they literally become neutral. It is that place that the Buddha would call the middle path. But they're saying right now the process of creation is now exclusively in the hands of your humanity. And it is important you understand the concept of what it means to not be afraid. It means to not align yourself consciously or unconsciously to conceptions, ideas, information that stipulate that you have to be afraid, to be willing to release your attachment to fear, to literally be aware that it is there, but not connected to it, much the same way as you can be aware that there are sounds outside of your room, but they do not distract you from listening to us. Humanity is at a very interesting place in their creative collective process, for you are all collectively creating right now. This is not something that any one of you is doing, but all of you are intimately creating together, whether you are conscious of that or not. The appearance of separateness by your individual forms does not remove the reality that you are collectively organizing the conditions of your experiences, past, present, and future. But it all depends upon this moment, what it is you will be aligned to. The vibration of fear is not one that is conducive to the extended experience of being. In other words, to extend your individual growth as a species, it is important to align yourself, not to fear, but to a vibration of love. It is easier for us to speak of vibration in terms of frequency than it is for us to use language such as fear or love, which your humanity has lots of meanings attached to. And we would simply say that love is the ultimate positive experience in being in a material medium you can experience, versus the vibrational energy of fear, which is a highly charged negative experience in the experience of physical being. When we say do not be afraid, we do not mean to avoid it, but we mean to align yourself deliberately and wholly to the vibrational frequencies of love, or a higher vibration, which is a state of great order and well-being. It is this state of order and well-being that is crucial right now. For the opposite is chaos and reorganization in a most uncomfortable way, although the reorganization is always coming out at a different place. You are now at a place where you are meant to be conscious in your creative process, that you cannot see your individual needs and desires as separate from the rest. Even if you try to exclude yourself through social mechanisms, through materialism, through political views, through social structures, you cannot delineate yourself as separate from anything else. Although you can give yourself the illusion that because you live in a castle or you live in a cave, that you are somehow separate from everybody else, but you are not. For we speak on the principles of how you organize the conditions of matter through emotional utilization of vibration and frequency. If you wish to liberate yourself from suffering, you must liberate yourself from your attachment to the energies, the vibrations that represent that, which is fear. We would simply say that fear denotes the frequencies of energy that would cause suffering and discomfort, whereas love is a range of frequencies that is joy, bliss, gratitude, creation, expression, limitless being, without being subjective to the cyclical ends and beginnings of time, whereas fear in and of itself has the cyclical beginnings and endings of time. It is a cycle. It causes a cycle of beginnings and endings, and it is a process that is usually engaged in unconsciously, mostly on the level of matter. Whereas on the vibrational frequencies of love, which must and can only be maintained consciously and deliberately, and therefore expanded and cultivated, you may live what you call this eternal expression of being. The range and duration of our lifespan, even in matter, is significantly greater than the lifespan of any human. And there are other beings in this physical dimension that can do this even greater than we can. So please understand, when we say today to do not be afraid, we simply are saying align yourself to vibrational awareness of what you would call love. Do not get the meaning of the word love confused with the vibration of love, for they are very different. Just as the meaning of your understanding of the word fear and the vibration of fear are very different. When you are aligned intentionally to a vibration of either fear or love, you will very specifically and deliberately harness energy to serve you in very precise ways in this realm. Do not be afraid. Release your attachment, your focus, your attention to fear. You can feel the difference in your biology when you align yourself to frequencies of love. The whole demeanor of your form will change. Even the way in which you will speak will change. How you will move, what you will consume, what you will give attention to changes significantly when you align yourself to frequencies that we denote as the frequency of love, which is not a specific frequency, but a range of positivity Yes, we use the word positivity very carefully. The word positively means that state which is progressively better and progressively better and progressively better each and every moment that you expand it. Whereas the opposite is true in the process of the vibrational energies of fear, where you can diminish and decrease the quality of your experience to a greater degree of discomfort and suffering and a diminishment of your awareness. One spectrum, you allow your awareness to expand and increase multifold, where in the other, you allow your awareness to diminish and contract into unconsciousness. Yes, the process of consciousness is eternal, in that everything has a degree of awareness, that these degrees of awareness can be deliberately expanded or unconsciously contracted. It is our hope in the message today that you understand the conscious ability you have as an individual to stay aware and present of what frequency of energy are you aligning yourself to physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. What is the alignment to the quality of frequency or energy? What is your alignment to it? Are you aligned to a vibrational frequency of love? And again, do not confuse the wording with the experience of the vibration. We would simply say the vibration of love is an increasing expression and conscious expansion of a vibrational condition called good in body, in mind, and in spirit, whereas the vibrational energy of fear would be its opposite. You are at a turning point in your species history where you can choose now. Will you be conscious of what you can generate as experience, or will you remain unconscious? There are a fair number of you that are choosing to be conscious now, recognizing that vibration is the ability that you have to organize the conditions of matter as you would choose to experience it in form. And there are some of you that are, vastly more of you actually, that are unaware of this fact, that you can choose your vibrational state, that you can literally relinquish a vibration of fear with a simple turn of your attention to something else. So your entire species is engaged in this process. And you must understand that the concept of non-separateness is universal from the perspective of energy. The frequency of energy that you as an awareness exists on is different than the frequencies of energy that you utilize as an awareness. For as the awareness, you may utilize any frequency you so choose, whether that frequency be called the lower vibrations of fear or the higher vibrations of love. And again, we are using language to denote something that is experientially very different than the meaning of the words that your mind would contain about them. And so going into the experience of a vibration of love or the experience of a vibration of fear is experienced very differently than the meaning of those words that you've been assigned. So the alignment in experience is what is the key in terms of understanding how to liberate yourself from one and release yourself to the other. The quality of, we'll use the term sensation. Again, we have difficulty using language to communicate the essential truth of what it is we're communicating, for the essential truth must be experienced in order for you to truly understand it. But an essential vibration of love, you will always feel your sense of joy, your sense of wellness, your sense of expansion. And again, the language does not do justice to the experience of this, for the experience of this is quite euphoric. When you realize that you are without limit, it is very liberating indeed. When you recognize that you are without limit, then the higher frequencies you're engaging allow you to expand even beyond matter, so that you may begin to explore these other realms that are available to all. Whereas in the opposite process, there is an expansion that occurs when you go into the lower vibrational frequencies of fear, expressions of aggression. Yes, you will find a different experience. You will find a very different experience where you will become unconscious because the discomfort to your awareness of suffering is such that you do not wish to be aware of it, which makes perfect sense. Who would want to be conscious of suffering? And so those of you that are suffering are choosing to not be aware that you are suffering, and yet you cannot ignore your suffering at the same time. But if you turn your attention away from your suffering and begin to move it up in vibrational frequency, you begin to liberate not just conditions in your physical world, but also in your body and in the cosmos around you. There is a direct relationship between what you are feeling as a species collectively and what is occurring in the space and time around your planet, within your solar system and beyond. You are not separate from these things, but your attachment to thinking that you are specifically a finite body restricts and inhibits you, at least many of you, from conceiving that you actually do affect this thing called the sun or the galactic center, that you have a relationship with these points of time and space of material experience by the very nature of what it is you are aligning to vibrationally. Now, you may be subjective to the incoming frequencies and become subjective or induced into them, or you may become an agent of transmuting very specific frequencies to create changes in time, space around you. Those that practice the former find themselves experiencing life as something that is happening to them, being done to them. Whereas in the other, one recognizes they are a creative agent of what is happening and occurring around them. They are responsible for what is occurring around them. They are manifesting very specific events in time and space. And there are a relative small handful of you on the planet that are doing this, that maintain the integrity of the physical manifestation by the mere nature of understanding and applying these principles of vibration. But you cannot, and you know not, if you truly look up at the sun and feel its warmth, you know you're not separate from it. And in that relationship, you have an effect with it, and it with you. But it will surrender to you when your awareness is such that you are without limit, without the belief, without the idea, without the limitation that somehow this world around you is greater than what you yourself are. The expansion of your consciousness as a species is being observed with great excitement at this time, for there are two polarities that you are working with, and you're observing both unfolding around you simultaneously, although the lower frequency at this time is getting more attention than the higher frequencies. We would simply say to you, take your attention away from your fears. And if anyone would put your attention on fear, to turn your attention away from that. Do not put your attention towards fear. Do not be afraid. This is where we began today. And it is important when you understand that your liberation from fear is your freedom to be, to create, as a participant in a galactic community where we understand very clearly what energetic vibrations we emanate, align ourselves to, and therefore watch observationally as they unfold in this condition of time and space, which is also adjustable and changeable according to your alignment to certain frequencies. Time changes very precisely and deliberately when you understand how to utilize energy. What you call your emotions is the best way we could say you could get in touch with the awareness that you are aware that you are using energy. Well, it would be your emotions, whether they are fear or love or joy. Your emotions are the energy that you must learn to regulate deliberately and consciously. And again, you will be invited into the neighborhood when you have enough developed in your consciousness as a collective that you can do so without causing disharmonies in other elements. Yes, this planetary system is, you might say, psychically shielded from the wider galactic community, not because of the desire to believe in isolation, but the recognition that you are just children learning to understand how to walk and how to talk and how to communicate. And we use these, again, these descriptors are simply an understanding of our awareness of how you are currently utilizing energy in your learning of creation, of what your role is in this creation as creators of conditions. And you will find your liberation must be a choice, and it must be conscious. You cannot get free through unconsciousness. You may only become free through conscious awareness. And we are, and many others are here to facilitate that process for you. The challenge we have is you have a finite set of beliefs about what you think things mean, and this restricts you from hearing a lot of what we're saying from the perspective of understanding the vibrational nature of your creative process. You get caught up in the meaning of the words and ideas you formulated about what you think time, space, and matter mean, and therefore you restrict yourself from moving beyond what those things would imply can occur for you. For you as the awareness are transcendent to time, space, and matter, and your utilization of frequency can also be transcendent of time, space, and matter. And when you are ready to recognize that on a global scale, where you do not try to exclude some or include others, you will find a degree of liberation and inclusiveness will occur. But you must teach your people not to be afraid, to not be afraid. Do not be afraid. There's a real depth and a calmness. Again, I'm trying to try and really articulate what the Pleiadians are communicating to us, and there's others that are here too. But understanding the distinction between what we think things mean and what we know things are. This is really important to understand that distinction between what we think things mean and what we know things are. And that's very powerful. What we think things mean and what we know things are. And what we've learned, what we think we know, is different than what we actually know is true from a perspective of awareness. Yes. And it's that place of awareness. They're saying, okay, it's that place in awareness where you can then begin to make a distinction between vibrational frequencies that you would choose to align yourself to from the perspective of awareness, not through the perspective of subjectivity to your experience of matter, but through your awareness of vibrational qualities, that you can begin to become more intentional and deliberate in the way in which you will organize your experiences and the way in which you will elevate or limit or restrict others in your creation. Interesting. Questions. Do not be afraid. Because, a lot of this stuff, anxiety that comes up for people, when you're feeling anxious, yes, it's because you are aware of a frequency of energy that you're giving attention to. And from a strictly physical perspective, thank you, strictly from a physical perspective, when you have an experience that causes your body pain, your awareness of that vibration that you call pain can inhibit you from recognizing your ability to transcend it. Many of you have experienced where something has happened to you and you experience no pain where you think you should. Then that is a moment where your awareness transcends the physical result, where you're able to heal your body quicker. You're not subjective to the effects of conditions, but you're recognizing your causative relationship to conditions. And there are instances where you've experienced pain and you've felt it greatly. And this is where you become subjective to the effects of conditions rather than causative to them. Just as you could walk across a bed of coals, or lie on a bed of nails, or jump from an airplane without a parachute and land safely, these are all things that can be done from a very conscious perspective of awareness. It is simply understanding that you are causative to conditions and not simply subjective to them. Thank you. So just for those of you that are coming on new today, this is a Pleiadian collective that's coming today. Then they're really putting through the message, the concept of do not be afraid. And they keep stressing that it's important that we do not confuse the meaning of the word, the meanings of the word don't be afraid, not the meanings of the words, but the understanding that they're saying to not align ourselves to a certain vibrational awareness of energy and to align ourselves to certain vibrations of energy that are conducive to us. Cool. I like this today. It's fun. Yeah. Question from Tanya. What does the attunement God is do when mind body is in a state of fear? If you understand the statement does not constitute a meaning of words, but a vibrational quality, which is what we have been saying all along today, is that you must understand the distinction in vibration. The statement, God is, constitutes a quality of vibration. And if you understand the quality of the vibration, you will understand the process of utilizing language then to harness vibrational energies in your creative process. You may use the word God is very specifically and precisely to create an instantaneous change in your frequency. Just as you could say a word like the word brick. The word brick has a certain frequency of energy to it that constitutes a certain quality in organizing energy. The labels that have been given to many things in your human world are very precise in terms of the function of those things in the world. A brick, if you feel the vibration of its word, you can recognize it as something that is solid, that is firm, that will hold things in place. And so the vibration and the word in that concept match. Just as the word God is, just as that too has a vibrational constitution. Just as the idea, the word I am afraid, has a concept of energy. And it is the vibrational frequency that we want you to become aware of. For when you understand that words merely reflect the invocation of frequency into the experience of matter, then hopefully you will become more mindful of what words you will use, not just in what you will speak, but in what you will think. For the rule of law exists in the astral realm of your mind as it does in the physical realm of your body. Please understand this. That the vibration I am joy is very specific, just as I am afraid is very specific. In terms of organizing vibrational frequency, the meaning of the words is not as important as the vibrational result of those words. And so it is wise for you to choose words that will expand and raise the nature of your awareness to become more aware, more enlivened, more expanded, more enlightened. But a gross word of a lower vibrational frequency, you can feel it. You have many expletive meanings that you use in this physical realm, we will not use them here, for we do not wish to contribute to that energy. But there are energies that you use in your language that organize the experience of vibration very differently than does the vibration of love and joy and expansiveness and peace. When viewed from the perspective of frequency, and that you as the awareness can select and choose frequency as a matter of choice, then you begin to move to a place where you begin to liberate yourself from the subjectivity to the vibrational conditions of your world, and then begin to reorganize the conditions of your world to match the vibrational intention that you would choose. And the vibrational intention that we would hope that you would choose is that of expansion, continued expansion, or what we have labeled as the vibrational expansion of love. For love, the word in and of itself, many of you got it confused with the concept of physical romantic interactions, and that is just a small part of it. But the actual meaning of the vibrational effect and outcome of this word love, if you were to feel the vibration of the word as opposed to your acquired meaning of it, you'll begin to move towards the alignment of that frequency consciously. You could simply say God is, or love. You can simply say either of these. Very good. That was a great question, by the way. I really appreciate it. Just making an adjustment here. Okay, questions. Okay, we're going to go to this. Just going to scroll up here. Oh, there we are. Okay, so question from Jana. I feel confusion if I should let this relationship of 5 years go or continue. What is the Spirit's overview of this? Thank you. Again, Jana, this is a good question, because remember what they're speaking of, what the Pleiadians are talking about is about vibration today, understanding vibrational alignment. That what you are giving your attention to, your awareness to, is constituting a vibrational manifestation. And we simply observe you as being uncertain, and therefore aligning yourself to a vibrational energy that will perpetuate an experience of what you would call uncertainty, or again, a vibrational energy that moves more towards fear than love. To align yourself deliberately and consciously to ideations that will allow your energy to expand outward and upward. And again, we use these descriptors very carefully. We use them very carefully. For up and out, again, are just language terms, but we would simply say this limitless expansion of self, which we would call the ongoing expansion deliberately of a vibrational frequency of love. Whereas the opposite, which is fear, constitutes a contraction of that. So we would simply say to you to release your uncertainty and to align yourself to what is it as an energy vibration would represent more expansion and joy in your experience of being in matter. For remember, matter is organizing itself according to the vibrational qualities you align yourself to, what you give attention to as a vibration. And there are really only two polarities with their own extremes, what you call fear and what you call love. And again, the words are different than the vibration, although the vibration of fear in your body is experienced a certain way, and the vibration of fear in your mind is experienced another way. There are different frequencies of one and the same thing at different levels of the creative process, just as the vibration of love in your body and the conception of love in your mind is experienced very differently. But ultimately, you have choice over what the vibration is you're going to align your attention to. For when you align your attention to a specific vibration, you are organizing a very specific and precise creative effects in your conditions of time and space. And all of you are doing this. There are none of you exempt from this process. Thank you, Jana. Great question. Question from Jesse. What's the deal with the Ascension community thinking white light is automatically false light? We do not know specifically of what you refer to, for what we are describing here is the understanding of the entire creative process as a deliberate effect of your attention to a specific vibrational quality. If you are distracted into the interpretations that other people have of the meaning of things, then you may find yourself inadvertently aligning yourself to vibrational frequencies that do not match the understanding that you yourself as an awareness can have of energy and consciousness. What would you say is the vibration of light for you? What quality does that give you as an experience of your being? What are you aware of when you experience yourself as light? What do you experience yourself of as light? To become aware of your alignment to specific vibrations is really the goal here today, to get you to become mindful and aware that you have the liberation and the freedom to choose what vibrations you will align yourself to internally and externally. And you may default to allowing someone else to give you a vibrational quality to give your attention to, and you find yourself now creating what they've given you rather than what you yourself can create. Do not get caught up in other people's understanding of the meaning of vibration, but rather align yourself deliberately and consciously to vibrational frequencies that allow you to feel your creative process as one that is based in excitement and joy and playfulness and expansion, not in suffering, although you are free to choose either. This is a free will zone, as it is everywhere where there is conscious awareness. It is a free will zone. So you may choose to go with others' definition of what reality is, or recognize that you are able to formulate your own creative energy into the experience of your being. Collectively, when humanity understands the value in vibrational frequency, the larger numbers of you aligning to frequencies of love as opposed to the frequencies of fear. And again, please understand, when we use the language that you have of love and fear, they do not necessarily give you the understanding of the meaning of the experience of these vibrational frequencies, although you can experience them. You can experience fear in your body and know its vibration. You can experience fear in your mind and know its vibration. You can experience love in your body and know its vibration. You can experience love in your mind and know its vibration. And by what you know, you may choose. If you know that a vibration of love is immensely more empowering and expanding and enjoyable for your experience of being, then it would make sense that you would align yourself to that energetically and not to the other. So be mindful of what you will listen to from others and what you will think upon yourself, for you are working with vibrational energy. You are working with vibrational energy. You're learning to work with the creative stuff that allows conditions of time and space to exist in very precise and particular ways, according to the nature of the awareness that is directing its attention to a pertinent quality of vibrational frequency. Cool. Thank you, Jesse. Great question. Good morning. Good morning, Gina. Question from Carolyn. May I ask the Pleiadians if the sun sends light codes to enhance our DNA, or can we do this by our own awakening to our awareness of being separate from the source? Thank you. We find your question very exciting in many ways, for it affords multi facets of humans to understand that they are not limited to their own individual knowledge to receive expansion as well. For as you may listen to the limiting ideas of others, you may also listen to the expanding idea of others. The vibrational frequency of the sun is of such a constitution, its consciousness is of such a constitution that it is expanding light. But it is still 1 degree of that expansion. It has a sphere of what you would call relative motion. The range and frequency of your sun's effect in time and space is limited relative to its size its consciousness and its ability to expand and express itself. You may become amenable to its expression, its vibrational frequency of limitless expansion relative to yours. For in your little body there, you cannot conceive of yourself covering the space and time of this whole solar system with your physical body, whereas the sun as consciousness does. But you may feel the vibrational energy from it and gain awareness of that experience, and therefore liberate yourself from the confines of finite perceptions of reality, and then move into the experiential limitlessness of expanded consciousness. Whereas you may expand your awareness outward as far as you would choose, which then begins to remove you from the limitations of matter and into the possibilities of creation. The consideration for your DNA is becomes secondary once you understand the fundamental principle that you are the one that is orchestrating what you will allow into your experience, whether it be you allow the energy of the sun to reorchestrate your DNA in a specific quality. That is your creative process, not the sun's. It's your allowing that energy. There are some that are terrified of this thing you call the sun that will not go out in it because they're afraid of it. And their experience of it will be that it will destruct or harm their DNA. And so each of you have these polarities. And again, we are watching humanity go back and forth in these polarities with the hopes that you will begin to transcend them, that you will begin to recognize that as a creative collective, you have greatly more impact and influence on the conditions of your being in this world than most of you recognize. There are but a few on this planet that truly understand the nature of the relationship between their awareness and the vibrational energies they can use to create conditions of time and space. Yes. Thank you. Great question, Carolyn. Thank you so much. Question from Margaret. Do the Pleiadians have a message about my ascension progress, as I'm unsure if progress of any kind is being made? Well, sorry, it's funny when the cuteness, they're saying that your question is very cute, in that we recognize that you are grasping to understand a concept that you've been wrestling with for some time. And we would simply say to you, dear one, that it is important you understand that you are simply learning to choose between one facet and another, understanding that your alignment consciously to your expansion of self as not simply localized to that physical mechanism, nor these acquired thoughts, to recognize, become aware of that which you are beyond them, moves you into the position then of consciously and deliberately selecting and choosing information that you can place within the system to liberate your experience of time, space, and matter, so that it will be more pleasing and exciting and playful to you. For your confusion doesn't come from, your confusion does not come from the world. Your confusion comes from not understanding the simple reality that what you as awareness are giving attention to is either going to expand and liberate you from the confines of matter, or more deeply ingrain you into the experiences of fear. To become more conscious or less conscious, it would be a simpler way to put it. If you are willing to release your fear that somehow you are not sufficient, or that you are somehow not complete, or that you are somehow not what you are supposed to be, if you release your fears around those concerns and realize you are, as what one said earlier, God is. God is. And if you feel the vibrational energy to that statement, God is, it is the vibrational quality of energy that the human species is trying to grasp now. Right now, you are stuck in the phenomena of the creation rather than the process of creating. And you recognize your thoughts create certain changes in vibrational experiences of matter, and then you think that the vibrational experiences of matter are what constitute reality, forgetting that you, in the construction of your thoughts and your awareness choosing those thoughts, is what constructed the experience of matter. When you recognize it is the conscious awareness of your awareness to choose qualities of thoughts that alter and changes your experience, expands and enhances the quality of your experience, of time, space, and matter, that you begin to liberate yourself from the confines of what you think you know and recognize that you are the creator, the selector, the chooser of what you think you know, and therefore the creator of your experiences. But always, the base of all of this, please understand, it is the vibrational quality. The vibrational quality. What vibrational energy are you aligning your awareness to? What are you, manifesting in your mind and therefore in your world? You can look around you quite simply right now and see that your world around you is a fabrication of what you are holding in your mind and what you're giving your attention to, ultimately. And all you have to simply do is take your attention away from the fear, take your attention away from the suffering, and you'll begin to make changes. The desire to alleviate suffering from your life will compel you to alleviate the suffering from others. The desire to alleviate suffering from your life will compel you to relieve the suffering from the lives of others. It is just what happens when you align yourself to love, to higher frequencies. Thank you. Great question. Thank you, Margaret. Just scrolling down here. Question from Mary, asking if there's a message for me this day. I am wanting to know of a possible relocation, Eagle Lake. Well, that's a shifting gears. Hang on a second now. The words they're saying to me, tell her to release her uncertainty. Release her attachment to the uncertain frequency. If she aligns herself to the vibrational experience of her love and her joy, she will know exactly what to choose. She will know exactly what to choose. Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. It's true. Move away from your uncertainty. Should I do this or this? Yes. What I often say in our courses and classes we teach is get the word or out of your vocabulary and put the word and in its place. Sometimes it's not this or this. Sometimes it's this and this. Take away the word or, put the word and in its place. Maybe it's this and this. Yes. Inclusiveness. They're saying you would call that inclusiveness. In expanding consciousness, you include more in your experience of being, not less. In the expansion of your consciousness, you include more in your experience, not less. Yes. Thank you. Great question. Cool how they turned that into that. Question from Drusilla. Will we remember who we are after the solstice energy coming in? They're smiling. They say, you already know who you are. You are seeking to have an awareness of who you already are. Again, if you continue to reflect on the manifestation of what you've created, you will stay lost in the manifestation rather than the recognition of that you are that. You are that which you are seeking to remember. Again, you continue to reflect upon what you have believed is your life. But again, you are simply reflecting on a collection of information that you have received in that physical form. What you are as an awareness is what you are as an awareness, what you are as a being. If you can distinguish yourself from your thoughts and you can distinguish yourself from your body into a place of awareness, you will have the moment that you're seeking from this event you call the solstice, these energies that are coming in that are, again, effects of your own creating process individually and collectively. You can save yourself a weight by simply going into who am I as awareness. I am not these thoughts. I'm not those memories. I'm not that future. I am that I am. And in this perspective of awareness, you will remember who you are, for you will be who you are, and you are anyway. But again, as long as you continue to reflect on a reference point outside of yourself, then the reference point outside of yourself will continue to make you feel separate from the very thing that you already are. Wow. Great question, Drusilla. Yes, a lot of people are getting a lot of ringing in their ears. It's been really increasing. Again, we want to stress that the importance here is what is the vibrational frequency and the nature of that frequency as your experience of it. You may give awareness to certain things that are stimulated from around you. This ringing of your ear that you hear in your right ear, what is the vibrational quality of that ringing? Is it more expansive? Is it more liberating? For you can, again, get lost in the creation as opposed to recognizing that you are the cause to the creation. You are causing the manifestation of your experience on a moment-to-moment basis by way of the vibrational qualities you choose to align your attention to. But you can also choose to create vibrational intentions, and we've seen this many times where you've seen people that are in states of deep fear and they move their attention away from their fear to something they feel really good about, and they change the vibrational experience of being. The next trick then is for them to realize, wait a minute, that they actually created the fear and they actually created the other. And then once that position of awareness is attained, now the process of consciously and deliberately creating comes into play. And right now, much of humanity is unconsciously creating in this experience. And it is quite the challenge for many of you. Thank you. Wow, amazing how time changes when these guys are here. Hi, Oregon. Question from Gina. When it's gray or dark here for days, week, and no visible sun, am I still receiving healing, etc., from the sun during dark days? Again, we are observing with very keen eyes, like the self. They're talking about the self with keen eye awareness. How many of you are still trying to extricate yourself from being subjective to your creative process and realizing that you are the creator initiating the process? You have in the space between your fingers enough energy to keep you alive for 1,000 years. The question then becomes is, well, why are you not doing that? And it's simple. You do not understand how to harness the vibrational nature of even these small things of energy that are actually quite great. That which is great is small, and that which is small is great. You may harness this. A single photon from the sun can feed you if you understand the vibrational nature of receiving it. But again, you may accept this conception, but you may also recognize that you are the light. You are the light, giving light and love and joy to your form. You are that, giving the light, the energy to the body, to the mind that it requires. You may also simply call forth the sun to come out from behind the clouds. You may simply do this. You understand that this realm of matter is an effect of your creative process, not causative to it. It becomes causative to it when you become subjective to your own creative process, rather than realizing you are the one that is creating the process. So you may go outside and ask the clouds to open and give you sunshine, if that is what you desire. If it is for you to believe that you need sun for your body to feel more complete in your body, then you may do this. But you are that light that you are seeking. You may give that light to your body, even with a single breath. Thank you, Gina. Great question. Yes. Question from Ryan. I've been told I am a traveler and a galactic ambassador from my higher self. How many of us are good question, currently on the planet, would love to connect and expand with this Pleiadian group? You have just done so. You have just done so. You understand that what you call a galactic traveler is where one has individually moved into the experience of separateness to a degree in order to experience this condition called matter. You have moved from one point of time and space to another point of time and space, as many of you have done in this process of learning through an infinite spectrum of possibilities. You are in that process right now. And the moment you conceive of the vibrational nature of an experience, it has to occur in the realm of your own creation. The need to connect to us was established the moment you conceived of it. The vibrational nature, in other words, the quality of not what words you're hearing come through this mechanism, but the vibrational nature of the energy that you are becoming aware of. If you wish to connect to us more directly, then it is important you become aware of the nature of vibrational energy as opposed to physical energy. Many of you are looking for physical sensations to validate non-physical realities. And yet the very nature of the physical realm indicates that it is an effect of something, and therefore it is not the cause of non-physical realities, but an effect of non-physical realities. And so if you vibrationally align yourself to the quality that represents the nature of what we are, then we are one with you as well. Cool. Thank you so much, Ryan. Good question. I'm going to scroll down here. Here we go. We're getting close to finish. Questions. Question from Blaine. Right, this one. They're telling me this one was in for a surprise. He has moved into unconsciousness because he was not very happy. Yes, he was not very happy with what he was seeing, but he did not recognize that he was actually one of the agents of facilitating the change. But I'm hearing now, as I tune into his energy, I'm hearing I'm hearing the words "oops." I don't know. Oops. I have to correct this. Yes. Vibration. I understand it is about the vibration now. It is not about the form or the conditions of matter. It is about the quality of the vibrations that we extend it down into matter that organizes it. Which is why so many love my music. Yet in the process of my own creating, I was not fully cognizant of the fact that there was a distinction between this causative realm and my creating it, that I actually participated in it. And I will continue to do so, for I awaken. I awaken. Thank you. It's interesting when you turn your attention to somebody who's in a non-physical realm. So you've got a mother or a father or a brother or sister that have left physical reality. The minute they leave physical reality, they lose their localized sense of identity. And the minute you put your attention on them, I just tapped in my father, my biological father. The minute you put your attention on somebody who's left the body, and if you're aware enough and allow yourself to be sensitive, you can feel them instantaneously come into your energy field, because you're now aligning yourself to the vibrational frequency that they identified themselves as being. And so you literally hook up an actual psychic connection. Again, we teach all this in our courses and classes. In the coming year, we'll be running our classes starting in February. But once you understand how to become aware of the vibrational presence of these energies, you can start to communicate with them, right? And everybody has this everybody has this capability. Everybody has the capability. We were all born with it. We all have it throughout our life. Some of us get it muted, some of it get it deprogrammed, but you can learn to. Yes. So Blaine, if you want, literally sit down and tap into this being and get some direct answers from him too, because you have a few. He's saying you have other questions to ask me than the ones that you've asked here. So literally do that. The minute you focus on somebody who's left the form, you'll feel their energy. You'll feel them immediately. Yes, thank you. Got time enough for another question or two? A question from Tanya. Any message for me and my family today? The vibrational energy that we would communicate to you would simply be the spirit of what you would see as dance, the spirit of dance is the energy that you would need to align yourselves into. Playfulness and dance would be very beneficial for all of you today. Again, it is not about the phenomena of dance, nor the conception of dance, but the alignment to the vibrational energy of love, which would be represented by the word freedom, that you need to align yourself more consciously and deliberately to. Many of you are still finding yourselves trying to find the solution to your suffering in matter, but you will not find the solution to yourself and your suffering in matter, but you will find it in spirit, in your ability to align yourself to vibrational frequencies that organize conditions very differently in time and space. And we are absolutely delighted that we had the opportunity to come and be with you today through this one. It is about the vibrational frequency. Do not be afraid. Align yourself to a higher frequency, that of love, of joy, whatever expands you and puts you into the position where you know that you are the one that is constructing the conditions of your experiential reality in this physical world. And we will say great love to all of you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've got a question from Dova that I'll get to as well. How do I let go of fear of being hurt again by my stuck between fully letting myself be loved and putting my guard up and let go? He vibrates low and has shown me to have narcissistic tendencies. Wow. It's okay. I'm getting several things right now, but your attachment to your fear and your suffering, this is not about the other person. For the other person is simply reflecting to you what you are attached to in yourself. And so the suffering that you hold in your own heart maintains the condition of this relationship. When you are willing to release yourself and relinquish yourself from those energies inside you, the fear, the anger, you will not indulge in anything, and you will bring into your experience that which reflects it in material realm. You are creating the conditions of your realm, of your experience of matter, by the emotions. And the question you have asked us simply is, how do I let go of my fear? Well, you simply let go of your fear. But that means letting go of all fear and all of the children connected to it. And by children, I mean the manifestations that are connected to your fear. Even this other one. This other one is a connection to the fear that you harbor in your own heart. When you release yourself from that fear, then you'll have no desire to be attached to anything that is like that again, for you will see it. And you are torn between these two realms of being in a state of love and grace and living with your fear. And once you choose one, you will not require the other. Your need will not be based in that physical reality, but in a very different physical reality. So it is a simple choice within yourself. It is not about out there. For when you relinquish yourself from the vibrations of fear, you will not accept anything as that in your life again. Do not be attached to the way in which these frequencies will organize themselves on your behalf. But you can see clearly that your fear has created very specific conditions in your world, in your relationships in this context. Just as the vibrational attachment to love will create very specific conditions in your life, including relationships. But you are clearly more aligned to fear than to love, for the conditions in the world around you reflect that. You may let it go in a single breath. You may let it go in a single breath if you choose. You may let your fear go in a single breath, and then you continue to release it. And every time you try to pick it up again, you release it. And every time you try to pick it up again, you release it until it is no more there. And then ask yourself, how does love feel? How does love feel? How do I feel if I'm in alignment with love? And how do I feel when I'm in alignment with love? How do I stay in alignment? How do I stay connected? The more you stay connected, the more you will see the conditions in your world change. And they can change very quickly, or very slowly. Thank you so much, Dova. Great question. And I want to thank everybody for their time and energy today. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and share this information. We are at a very powerful time right now. And when they came to me this morning and said, don't be afraid, I really got what they meant. Do not be afraid. In other words, do not allow your attention to dwell on fear and suffering and pain. Align your energies to love and joy and possibilities. Because that's what we're at that time. We're learning to let go. There's huge pull right now between fear and love on the planet. And right now we're seeing the fear end, and we have to relinquish it. I say, no, enough of that. We're done with that paradigm. Letting it go. It's going. And what's happening in the next 10 days, a lot of the energy coming in is for that purpose. We are bringing forth a new energy. The ascension is about bringing forth this newer high vibration of liberation, of freedom, of creation, rising up. Love is an ascension. Love is an ascension in energy. Fear is a descension in energy. Love is an ascension in energy. So much love to all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming out, your time, your patience, your focus, your energy. I'll see you tomorrow on Supernatural Saturday for the meditation, where we're gonna, who knows what we're gonna be doing tomorrow, but it's going to be integrating these energies and taking us to a deeper awareness of how to control and alter our own frequency, our own awareness of that in body and mind. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love. Bye for now.